I thank the gentlelady for yielding, and I apologize if I jumped ahead in any way, shape, or form, sir. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. And Madam Speaker, with all that is going on this week, Democrats have still found time for their favorite pastime: voting on partisan legislation that would actually make our country weaker. Democrats could not have picked a worse week to try to undermine American travel restrictions. President Trump's quick decision to restrict travel to countries like Iran and China, now that was smart. It was a smart response, and it is helping to keep America safe. The president's actions then and now are clearly within his rights. But today, I want to talk about the rights of this Congress, of this body, and how Democrats want to take those away. For the second time this Congress, the House is considering two important pieces of legislation by attaching them to completely unrelated shell vehicles, thereby preventing the minority from offering a motion to recommit. Now, the last time this occurred, Representative Ro Khanna actually admitted the maneuver was intentionally designed to silence dissenting opinions. He didn't just admit, he bragged about it, that they would be able to deny the voice of Congress. And now, with last week's passage of the sixth motion to recommit in this Congress, Democrat leadership is once again choosing to restrict debate on an issue of national security. It is not only that this is bad for America, it is bad for the tradition of fairness and free debate that, you know what, Democrats promise to uphold. Don't take my word for it. I listened to my friend, the chairman of Rules, McGovern, say in September 2018, and I quote, Madam Speaker, he boasted on this very floor, if Democrats are trusted with the majority, we will have a more accommodating process. This place will be run by professionals. Ideas will be allowed to come forward, and the House of Representatives will actually debate again. If there's one thing we know about this Democrat majority, is that they overpromise and underdeliver. Today is no exception. The right that Democrats want to take away is an important right, maybe one of the most important in all of Congress. It is the last chance for a minority party to offer amendment to a legislation. It's called the motion to recommit. As you know, the motion to recommit has been a hallmark of the House for more than 100 years. It was created to give the minority party the right to have a vote upon its position upon the great public questions. I got to be very clear. Eliminating this would be a nuclear option. That is why I sent a letter, actually 2 letters, to Democrats' leaderships to stop this madness. Unfortunately, my last letter to Leader Hoyer on the subject went unanswered. So did my letter this week to Leader Hoyer and Chairman McGovern. That is why today I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record both of the letters at this time.
Without objection.
Madam Speaker, I believe the members of this House deserve a public response about this situation. Will Democrats commit to ending this abusive practice? Or do they plan to follow the lead of their freshmen and end the use of the motion to recommit entirely? To end 100-year history of the body of this House. MTRs not only promote full and thorough deliberation, but they also improve legislation. Think for a moment, just within this Congress, 6 out of 60 MTRs have been adopted by this Congress. Think about that. That means a bipartisan majority of this House felt the need to improve 10% of the bills put forward of which MTRs were offered. That should show you how vital the last amendment is and always should be. Madam Speaker, though we may not serve in the majority right now, our members still represent millions of Americans who lend us their voice and count on us to fight for their priorities in Washington. Madam Speaker, the last 8 years, this House had a different majority. I happen to have the privilege of serving as majority leader. Not once did we ever consider taking away the MTR because we believed in the minority rights and the traditions of the institution in which we are privileged to serve. We believed that the power of the idea should win. We believed in the promises that we made. That's why we kept them. We would not make a promise in the minority and when we captured the majority in less than a year to break them time and again. We would not go unanswered a question from the minority as well. There's something bigger than politics. It's the voice of the American public. To use the sheer power of politics to silence millions of Americans is just wrong. To change a tradition that's been more than 100 years, to make sure a bill cannot become better simply because you want the partisan side, or to be so afraid of the debate to deny it to happen. We are so much better than that. The rights and the traditions of this institution in which we've always been privileged to serve, I wish I could say the same for this new Democrat majority. I yield back.
The gentle